Thank you. Thank you for inviting me back. Is this working? Just make sure you can hear me. You can hear me good? I don't want you to miss that. Shoot you. You hear me? I'm good. We're good. Everybody here is good, right? Thanks for having me back. It's good to be back. First question I got tonight was, did you bring your torn shirt? As you remember last year, right? You remember the cut-up shirt? I didn't. So if you missed it last year, you just missed. It's no encore performance for the torn shirt this year. But it's good to be here. It's definitely good to be here and be among you. It's great to have so many young people that are here tonight working the service, and God appreciates you. Thanks for being here. I know your church appreciates you being here, but we don't say that enough. I don't think, young people, we appreciate you being here. So thank you for that. Why are we here? Nothing else to do? Sunday night?
To light a fire under us.
To be revived. To be revived. To be refreshed, renewed, maybe. Maybe to hear an old thing in a new way, right? I got nothing new for you. This doesn't been preached for thousands of years. Sometimes it has a new twist, but same old stuff. You've heard it before. I'm sure Eric's preached it before, maybe in a different way. But sometimes just a fresh voice to give us a new perspective on things. Maybe a new look. But I think most of us have come here seeking, right? Seeking something, right? Because something's just not right. Would that be a fair statement? Is that a fair statement? If you're seeking to be renewed or revived, it means something's not right. That you may have a relationship with Christ, but maybe it's not where you want it to be. Maybe it doesn't have that spark that it once had. That joy-filled, I can't wait to get to church. Right? Why are you here? Because of singing the choir song here? Right? Because I'm in the youth program and they asked me to come and serve tonight? Because, you know, one of the things you need to ask yourself is why are you, I'm the pastor, I got to show up. You know? but why are we here? We're here to be revived. That's an important thing. It's important that we seek to be refreshed every once in a while. Sometimes we can just get lackadaisical with our faith. We can just start, life gets busy, don't it? Don't it? And we just kind of, we just kind of get lackadaisical with practicing our faith on a daily basis. I always like to start things off with something positive. I'm positive that Christ is in this room. I'm positive that the Holy Spirit's here tonight. I'm going to light that candle to remind us of that this whole service. Not just tonight, but every night that we're here. I even got the lighter to work. It's going to be a good night, right? You ever been called up here and you're like, it won't work? But it is, isn't it? And I think it's important that we acknowledge that Christ is here with us. And He's come seeking a relationship with us, to renew that relationship, to be drawn, that we can be drawn closer to Him, right? He's already here, but to be drawn closer to Him. And if that sounds like a marriage counseling or something like that, well, it kind of is, isn't it? Because they both deal with broken relationships. Something needs to be fixed. Something needs to be renewed sometimes. I mean, that's what counseling does, right? And that's kind of what we're here for. To find out what it is that's separating us from God and what's keeping us from having the type of Christian life that He'd have us to lead. You say, well, I'm really pretty good, you know. Most of the time I'm good. I show up most Sundays, right? I pray at least once a week, sometimes. And I do most of the things, at least I call on God when I get in trouble. So we talk then. At least we talk then, right? But is that all you want? Is that really all you want out of your faith? Is that good enough? Is that what God wants for you? Might be the bigger question. So tonight I want to explore that a little bit and how we face the obstacles, the things that separate us from God. And what do we do about them? We'll talk about that tomorrow night. And then where we go from there, we'll talk about that the next night. So it's kind of a 3-day thing for me. I can't get it all into one night. So I'm going to get you partway there tonight, and we're going to talk about it. But the first thing I want to talk about is sin. And the bad news is, and I hate to be negative, but we all sin. Right? We all fall short. The Bible tells us that. It's not a secret. That's nothing new. I'm sure Eric told you that before, right? Hopefully so. We're all sinners. We all fall short. Not that we're not good people. Not that we don't try. But sometimes we miss the mark a little bit, don't we? You say, well, I don't miss it as bad as some people. You know, I just do a few little things wrong. I'm not what they call a big sinner. I'm just a little sinner, right? I just sin in little pieces. So I'm okay, right? You know, I don't think that's really quite the right thinking. You see, because sin is sin. I hate to say that, but that's what it is. Let me show you what I need a volunteer. Can I get a volunteer? Hopefully, somebody with health insurance. I need somebody with health insurance to volunteer. You don't have to have your card. Well, you might want to have your card with you. But I just need one person. Come on, somebody be brave. There we go. There we go. Perfect. You're perfect. What's your name?
Macy.
Macy. Perfect, Macy. I'm going to get you to stand right down here, Macy, if you will. Now, you have any allergies or taking any medication in case the paramedics come? Okay, you're good. You're good, sir. And you don't have your health insurance card with you?
My mom does.
Your mom does? Okay. We're good, Mom? All right, Mom. All right. Anybody got a cell phone? No cell phone. That's oh, Billy, you got one? Just kind of cue up now. But what I want you to do is, y'all may know this, you may not know this, but the term sin comes from the Greek word hamartia, which means to miss the mark. It means to miss the mark. When an archer would draw back and he would shoot the arrow, and if he missed the mark, that's the term they would use, hamartia, which we translate into sin. Now, but you like apples? Yeah. Okay, good. What I'm going to need you to do is to stand here and hold this like this. Okay, you do it? Okay, you got that? Yeah, perfect. Stand right there. I'll be right back. Now, when I was young, when I was young, I had a class one time at R3. That was with a bug. But this is very similar. It has an arrow and everything. Just like the other one. Let's see. And what I like to do... No, you look nervous. Are you nervous? I have a video show. I practiced this yesterday because I wanted to show. I got me a watermelon to represent your head and the apple to practice. And this is I'm pretty good at this.
Okay, huh?
I just missed by a little. Look. Missing by a little is okay, right? Exactly. That's the point I wanted to make. When we miss by a big bit or a little bit, it's still missing, isn't it? I'm not going to shoot. I'm kidding. Eric said the church ain't sure for that. But my point is, and you get it, right? Is if we miss a little bit or a lot, we miss. So when we sin, when we miss the mark, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit or if it's a lot, it's still a miss, isn't it? We still come up short, don't we? We still miss the mark of what God intended and what God has planned for us. And that sin serves as an obstacle in our life. It blocks that flow from God to us. You see, most of us do this. We spend our life saying, well, I ain't got any sin in my life, or just a little bit. We carry that baggage around, right? We just tote it around with us. Like it's our best friend. We go to bed with it. We wake up with it. We shower with it. You know, we go everywhere with it. We can't let it go, can we? You know, sometimes we want to set it down. We're like, no, but somebody else might get that. I carry that with me, you know. And we take it everywhere we go with us, right? And there's all kinds of sin in it. Probably one of the ones I see most of all is this one right here. Lying. Anybody know anybody who lies? Some of the young people say, no. It's okay, because if you didn't raise your hand, you lied tonight. We already covered that. One, you strike one. All right? Dishonest a little bit. Say, well, aren't there some good lies? There's some like little, sometimes just a little white lie. Preacher, I just tell the little white lie. Because that one's okay, right? Preacher, is that one okay, Eric? You know, like when the wife says, does this dress make me look fat? Please, ladies, don't do that to us. That's not fair. That's not, you have two eyes, look in the mirror. You can judge for yourself. You don't need us to tell you whether that makes you look vertically challenged or not. It's not right, don't ask us that. But if they do, men, here you go, this is what you do. You look them square in the eye, and you say, it makes you look as beautiful as you've always looked to me. And then move on as quickly as you can. All right? But don't lie about it, right? She's trusting you to tell her the truth. Well, she kind of wants you to tell her the truth. Well, she don't want you to tell her the truth at all, but really what she wants you to tell her is that she looks good in that dress. Whether she does or she doesn't. The thing is that a lie is a lie. Right? And why is that so important? Why is it? It breaks trust, doesn't it? If I can't trust you to tell me whether I look good in this dress, not me personally, but if I can't trust you to tell me whether this dress makes me look fat or this suit makes me look bald or whatever, if I can't trust you to tell me that, then how can I trust you with anything? Because I don't know when you're going to lie to me or when you're not going to lie to me. So what that's done is that's set up a barrier between me and you, right? That lie. And it misses the mark of what God intended for us to do in our relationships, right? But see, because God made it very simple, Christ made it very simple when He came down. God had sent the 10 Commandments, right? And you all have those memorized, right? Right, so I can just point to you and you're going to name, number, right? No, probably not. But the good news is Christ came and He made it simple for us, didn't He? And He took those 10 and all the added man-made laws that went with those 10 that nobody could do it, and He kept it very simple for us, right? It says what? Right there. It says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's actually two. 2 commandments. That's all you got to do. It's simple stuff. It's so simple. Love God, love each other. If you're lying to somebody, are you loving them? Not really. Because you're breaking that trust, aren't you? Are you doing what God wants you to do? Not really. What about the what? That's just something we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel a little better about lying. It's still a lie, right? Remember, a little miss is a miss nonetheless, isn't it? Right? When we miss, whether it's a little bit or a lot, it's still a miss. So it's still a sin, isn't it? Right? Are we in agreement? Yeah. Can we recognize that? So lying. So we know that some of you maybe know some people who lie. Or lying. Or liars. Right? So that's fair game. Is that fair? Fair? What about adultery? Is there a problem with that? Is that how you want to be treated? If your spouse, is that what you want? Does that fall under love your neighbor as yourself? No. You see, again, that's a break in the relationship, isn't it? Is Christianity a religion or a relationship? What do you think? Both? Both?
Relationship.
Relationship?
Relationship with God.
Relationship?
Relationship.
Relationship? You got some both, a relationship. And actually, technically it is both. Technically it is both. I always tell people it's more relationship. I believe this. My theology is this, is that Christianity is a relationship that should be followed religiously. But technically they are both. It is both. So adultery. Well, I don't know. My hand ain't going up for that. Okay. I'm not asking for hands. You're safe. But what I'm saying is, you see how some of the 10 are in the 2, aren't they? Here's one of my favorites. Unforgiveness. Oh. Now I've started meddling, haven't I? Right? Unforgiveness. Anybody know anybody who hadn't forgiven somebody? Maybe you're holding that grudge because it's your grudge. You need to hold it anyway, right? Nobody else can hold my grudge. Don't tell me to let go of my grudge. It's mine. It's mine. You don't know what that person did. I don't. I don't. But God doesn't ask me that. He says you let it go. He wants to know if you let it go. Because if you didn't let it go, you're hindering His relationship with you. Wait a minute, preacher. I don't see that. I don't see that. Well, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can clear it up for you. Can I have that next? This is 1 John, chapter 4, 7 through 8. Beloved, let us love one another because love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. So we're in agreement that God is love, right? Is that agreement? It's in the Bible. It's right there. Kind of black and white, but it's right there. God is love. All right. So if God is love, if we can wrap our minds with it, God is love. Now let's go to 1 Corinthians. Let's find out what love is. Okay. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Okay? So if God's love, and this is what love is. That underlined statement, what does it say? It keeps no record of wrongs. That sounds a whole lot like unforgiveness to me. Which would lead me to believe that unforgiveness is not of God. It would lead me to believe that if I'm trying to be Christ-like, that I should seek to what? Forgive. And forget. That's what I said. But to forgive. How many people here know somebody who needs to let something go? It's been holding on to it for a long time. Unforgiveness. Envy. That's all right, isn't it? We can be a little bit jealous, right? Right. I got a nice car. God's blessed me with a nice car, but you got a nicer car. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Because I'm the preacher, I should have a nicer car. I'm God's favorite. He should be blessing me with the best car in the biggest house. Isn't that the way it works? No, it's not. Oh, then I guess I shouldn't be envious, should I? But how many of us fail to enjoy God's blessing? Because we worry about what somebody else has. So God's blessed me with a good job, pays my bills, but I ain't got the best job. I don't make the most money. I don't drive the nicest car, the biggest house. I mean, I got money in the bank, but I ain't got lots of money in the bank. How many of us do that? You know anybody like that? Know anybody who suffers from a good case of envy? Let's see what else we got here. It's in a good bag. I like it. Am I stepping on y'all's toes? I'm sorry. Not really. That's what I'm here for. The first step in a revival is to come to terms with your sin. Oh, this is my favorite one. Oh, yeah. I can tell by the smile on your face, you know what I'm talking about. Right? Gossip. Oh, that's a sin? I didn't know that was a sin. It's a sin. Yeah, but you can't take that away from me. What will I talk about? If I can't talk about somebody, what will I talk? Talk about Jesus. There you go. There's a subject worth talking about. Talk about your Lord and Savior. Gossip. Yes, it's wrong. You know, you can murder people in a lot of ways. You can kill somebody with your words. You can tear down their character. You can tear down their morale. You can tear them apart. Sometimes words are worse than physical harm. Sometimes, and this is a good lesson for you young people, you can do more damage with your words that you say about somebody than if you went up there and hit it with a baseball bat. Sometimes they'd probably rather you go up there and hit it with a baseball bat. Because those wounds will heal. When you cut somebody with your words, when you talk about somebody, those wounds are slow to heal, folks. Those wounds are slow to heal. You see why they interfere with our relationship with each other and our relationship with God? You see where this could be an obstacle? You see why this is a sin? You see why this is wrong? Gossip. It's still my favorite. On the other side, it's upside down. Let's see. What else? Stealing. I ain't never stole nothing. All right. How many of y'all cheat on your taxes? Don't raise your hand. I'm not an IRS agent. Stealing. Cheating on taxes, you steal from the government. You steal. Well, it's my money. I'm just saying, I'm not arguing whether you owe that money to the government or not. I'm telling you, if you're cheating, you steal. Right? How many of y'all downloaded music for free that you're supposed to be paying for? Oh, yeah. Some of the young people know what I'm talking about. Stealing. That's stealing. You're taking something you're not paying for. You're taking something that's not yours and you're not paying for it. That's stealing. Right? Look, I didn't make the rules. I'm just telling you what the rules are. You say, well, preacher, you said there was only 2 rules, love. All this falls in there. All this falls in there. Let's see what this is. Oh, here's one. I had a struggle with this one myself. Refusing God's call. When God's speaking to you and wants you to do something, asks you to join the choir. Oh, no, I can't do that. I'm too busy. Lead Bible study. I can't do that. God, you got the wrong guy. I'm kind of busy. I got things to do. I got to work more so I can afford that new car that you want me to have. Or that new house. Right? Refusing to answer God's call. Things He's laid on your heart, and you say, I'll get to that next week. Did He tell you had next week? As far as I know, none of us are promised tomorrow, are we? Respond. Coveted. Wanting something, right? How many of us covet something? Coveted. Idol worship. Anybody here worship idol? Any of y'all got golden calves at your house? Is this too Old Testament for you? Idol worship? How many of y'all have a boat you spend more time on than in church? A car that you love more than doing work for your church or volunteering? You know, when we let things become our focus instead of God, they become idols. They become idols. You shouldn't worship anything you can make. I can't make God. God made me. Believe it or not, just proves He has a sense of humor, doesn't it? But if you can make it, if it's a car or a house or a thing, it don't need to be worshipped. It's a thing. And when you're dead and gone, it's still going to be sitting there, probably with some rust on it. But it's still going to be sitting there, right? Idol worship. Don't worship things that don't deserve your worship. Worship your God. Laziness. Okay, lazy people in here? I am lazy. Let me just tell you, I have to fight this all the time. I am lazy. But this kind of laziness refers to using the talents and the gifts that God gives you. If God gives you a voice to sing and you're not using it to glorify Him, then you're being lazy. If He gives you a voice to speak on His behalf and you're not using it, you're being lazy. If He's giving you the wisdom to teach a Sunday school class and you're not teaching it, then you're being lazy. You're not using the gifts that God's given you. So the question you have to ask is, why not? Why am I not using those gifts? You say, how big is that bag? I know because my feet are sore. Murder. Any murder? Don't answer that. I don't want to know. Plus I have to report you if I know about it. Murder. I think that speaks for itself, right? And we know what that is. But you know, like I said earlier, you can do that with words, not just physically. You can kill somebody with your words. They can do just as much harm as an instrument. Using God's name in vain. How accustomed have we become to hearing that? Until we just go on with it. TV and movies have made us to where it's like it doesn't even bother us anymore. You're not supposed to use God's name in vain. I remember I was counseling this. I was leading this camp for 8th graders, but one of my counselors was this 20-year-old. She was a short little cheerleader. She was in college, and she was all peppy. And we were talking about this one day, and she said, you know, whenever somebody says Jesus or uses God's name in vain, I just go, where? And after a while, they just stopped doing it because they knew how annoying I was going to be about it. There's more than one way to skin a cat, is what I'm saying. But you don't have to go with the flow just because society tells you. That's okay. Almost there, folks. Pride. I get the heart. Pride. How many of us suffer from pride? You know how many relationships break up because of pride? Two people start arguing, and one of them knows they're wrong, but they ain't going to say they're wrong because of pride. Right? Trust me, I've counseled enough people to know that they're afraid that it will show weakness. No, it shows that you love the other person enough to admit when you're wrong. If you're wrong, say you're wrong. You know, don't be prideful. But pride, serves us in a lot of ways. Well, I can't be in the choir because they won't let me be the lead singer, and I have the best voice. It's clear to everyone that I should be the lead, right? Pride. And I make a joke about it, but some of it echoes true. And here's my favorite one. I know Eric will appreciate this one. Keeping the Sabbath holy. Oh, what? You mean like go to church on Sunday? Like every Sunday? Like, are you serious? Is that important? But I have baseball games. Don't care. But God gave me this boat, and He wants me to take it out on the lake. He does. He wants me there. Now He wants you in church. You can take the lake out after church. There's plenty of time. You get out on time. They won't let me go over it. Just cut the line. I'll just play that out. But keeping the Sabbath holy. In other words, set aside a day, one day. It's not even a full day. It's not even a full morning. It's a couple hours. God's giving you a whole week. You can't set aside a couple hours for Him. Not if I don't have anything else to do. Not if, nobody's called me. I guess I can go to church. Maybe something's happening there. No. Make it a priority. You got a date every Sunday with God. He's going to be here. He wants you to show up. Every Sunday. So, can I miss one? Well, maybe one. But spend time in prayer if you're going to miss it. Sabbath. That's a whole lot of sin. Did I cover it all? You think that covers all the sin? You think that covers all the things that breaks up our relationships with each other and with God? Does that begin to even touch it? Maybe a fraction? Are your feet sore? Did I step on your toes?
No, she did.
She did. Elbow. That's you, right? We're always good at pointing out somebody else's sin, but that's the way sin is. I won't tell you which one of those that is, but we're good at that. One of the things that we need to look at, if we're talking about being renewed and we want to be refreshed and we want to move forward, is to find out what's keeping us from being in touch with God. What is it in your life that's keeping you far away? Have you noticed something here? Who's not visible in here? Can you see the Christ candle anymore? That's what sin does. It comes between you and God. Makes it hard for you to see Him, doesn't it? Makes it hard for you to see His presence, to feel His presence. Maybe that's why you feel a little bit alone. So, I miss those days when me and God were tight. We were walking around. God's still there. He's right there. But He needs you to turn away from this and turn towards Him. That's what repent means. Turn away from and turn towards God. Turn away from whatever it is, whether it's one of these things or all of these things or something else. I'm not here to judge you. Trust me. I'm just as guilty as you are. I'm just as guilty as you are. I have my frailties just like you. It's a struggle to stay in line all the time. I might get convicted a little bit quicker than you do. But I'm not guaranteeing that either. Because usually if I do something that I know that God wouldn't have me to do, He convicts me really quick. He says, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have done it. Oh, you're right. Then I go back and try and make it right. So I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to point something out to you. That sometimes we get this between us and God. And we can't move into a closer relationship with God until we're ready to move this out. This has got to go away. You got to work on removing this from your life. In today's story, scripture we read is the story of the lost son. You might know it as a prodigal son. So you growing up, you might have heard it under that title. But right, you have a son who's kind of self-centered, right? And he's all out for who? For himself, right? He's all about me. And he goes and he asks his father for his half of the inheritance. Or not half, he doesn't get half, but for his part of the inheritance. I want that money. Which is totally disrespectful. Somebody's still alive to ask him for your inheritance. But he goes and he asks him for it, and the father gives it to him. And it says he goes off to a faraway land and he squanders his money, and he soon finds himself in what? In a bad way, doesn't he? He's separated from his father. He's in a faraway land. And he has no money. And bad economic times come. There's nothing. You ever known anybody like that? Kind of gotten far away from God? Gone to a faraway land? Find themselves in bad shape? I'm going to tell you, I've been in bad shape before, but I ain't never been so hungry I wanted to eat with the hogs. And that's where it says he was at. That's about as low as you can get. When you're ready to get down there and wrestle the hogs for what they... I used to work on a hog farm. I can tell you, they call it slop for a reason. That's not French for fine dining. I'll just tell you that. And he's ready to get down. That's how low he's got. That's how separated from his father he is. That's what sin does. It takes us away from the Father. It entices us to a faraway land and things that look so good, and this is going to be a good time, and I'm going to enjoy this. It's all about me, and soon becomes, what am I going to do? That's how a lot of sin ends up. Seems like a good idea at the time. It'd almost be like, hey guys, watch this. Be like one of those videos. It always ends up bad, doesn't it? That's the way sin is. It always ends up bad. There's no redeeming value to it. It does nothing for you. It promises things it can't deliver. It separates you from the one who loves you. It separates you from God. Now the question is, what are you going to do with that? Because, like it or not, that's just the facts. You say, don't you have anything else positive to say? Yeah, I'm positive Jesus is behind those boxes. I'm positive Christ waits for you. I'm positive that Christ wants you to make that step towards Him. I'm positive that God loves you no matter where you're at in life. So He can't love me. I'm messed up. There's more grace in God than there's sin in you. Trust me. He loves you. And He wants you to take that step towards Him. But to do that, you're going to have to leave some baggage behind. First thing you got to do is recognize what the baggage in your life is. And I don't know what that is. I don't read minds. God didn't tell me, oh, the third man in the fourth row has... No, He didn't tell me that. That's not my job. My job's not to judge you. That's between you and God. It really is. It's a relationship thing. But just like I don't know what it is, I can't give it up for you either. I can't set it aside. It's not as easy as me coming up here and say, and the Sabbath will be honored. And we'll no longer use God's name in vain. I can't do that for you. You've got to do that for yourself. You see, it's a personal relationship, isn't it? Talk about it as a religion or a relationship, it's a personal relationship. Christ invited you into a personal relationship. And you accept it. Or I'm assuming you've accepted it. If you haven't, that's a different discussion. If you've accepted that, then you made a commitment. You said, I was just there for the free heaven thing. No, it's more than that. You're missing out. I'm here to tell you, you're missing out. If that's all Christianity is to you, as a ticket to heaven, you're missing out. you're not experiencing God in a very real way every day, you're missing out. If you're not connected to God in a very real way in prayer every day, you're missing out. Now, I can't tell you what to do. We're going to leave this young man in a faraway country to think about what he's done, because I think time out is appropriate in some cases. But tonight, where I want to leave you at is wherever you are. I want to leave you there because I want you to be in serious thought about what is it that I can do better. Again, I'm not saying you're a bad guy or a bad gal or a bad person or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we all have areas of our life that we can improve on. We all have sin in our life that we need to remove. But you can't remove what you don't identify. Is that fair to say? If you don't do some soul searching, if you don't look in your heart, if you don't look inside and say, what is it that's separating me from my God? What is it that I can do better? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better daughter or a son? How can I be a better friend? How can I be a better neighbor? How can I be a better citizen? How can I be a better church member? How can I be a better pastor? Or choir member? Or youth member? How can I improve on that? How do I get there? Because if you don't have a plan, you will not get there accidentally. Let me say that again. If you don't have a plan, you're not going to get there accidentally. That's not the way life works. There are no participation trophies here. You actually have to play the game. You have to go out on the field and get your uniform dirty, is what I'm saying. You can't watch from the sidelines. That's not the way it was created. But Christianity was created. So I'm going to watch that. That looks good. They sure do look good helping those people. Sure wish I could help them. I got to go do some stuff. Christianity is a participation event for everyone. Not just the pastors, not just the choir, not just the youth group, for everybody. So how are you going to get there? How are you going to improve your life? How are you going to get into a better position? How are you going to draw nearer to your Lord and Savior? I want you to consider that tonight. We're going to talk about it some more tomorrow. But I want you to pray about it tonight. When you go home, when you're driving home, it's good and quiet. You live out here in the country. Don't close your eyes when you drive and play. Dear, don't appreciate that. But pray about it. Seek an answer. You know, usually you find an answer when you seek an answer. If you already know where you're at, you want me to pray with you, or you want Eric to pray with you, or you just want to pray by yourself, that's okay. But I want to let you know we're here if you want to pray about it, if you want to talk about it. I'm a good listener. That's my wife. She'll tell you. I can tell you everything she's ever said. But in all honesty, we want to help you. We want to help you get from where you are to where you need to be. Let's close with prayer, can we? I know Eric's going to do an invitation out. Just going to close this portion up real quick.